For close to 35 years, this little engine proudly served the Roseville Fire Department. 3 occasions she was called in for caisson duty, providing fallen Roseville firefighters their last ride. Now, a neat little story that came back to us comes from our days while stretching at the riot. We've been told that members from the Detroit Fire Department and some other mutual aid companies thought there was an eeriness to seeing the truck come out of the smoke in the war-torn streets of Detroit, and it almost looked like a ghost, and members were referring to the truck as the Ghost of Grand River. Rosie has a 1,000 gallon per minute pump and is capable of carrying 300 gallons of water on board. During the Detroit riot, more than one Detroit firefighter was envious of Rosie for the onboard water capabilities and able to immediately, throw a booster line on a trash fire, because believe it or not, Detroit fire trucks at that time, they didn't carry water. Their engines were dependent solely on hydrants. The cab of a 700 series is not luxurious and there is not a lot of space. The platform was designed as being capable of carrying up to 7 men to a scene. So you'd have two in the cab, the chauffeur and the officer, the captain. You'd have 2 in the jump seats. You'd have 1 to 3 on the tailboard. In the cab, you can see that the offering is very, very simple, and there's a little pocket extinguisher that you could have if you did something in a hurry. As far as how the truck runs out, this particular truck runs really well. It's capable of doing 50-55 miles an hour, and although you have to have a certain touch between 3rd and 4th gear, she runs really quite well. Great running little rig. Smokes a little bit on the right bank of the engine, but hey, what can you expect? She's over 70 years old and largely original. The original American LaFrance bell is in immaculate condition and proudly positioned on the officer's side. We are told that in the early mid-1990s that the rig was repainted and lettered for a small trenching or contracting company. After only its 2nd or 3rd event being shown, the engine got seized on it. And since then, up until 2015, it sat in a barn and was neglected, collecting dust and just having things piled upon it. In the springtime, the truck saw daylight for the first time in a long time, and the reclamation project commenced. Seasoned old school mechanic Ken Osborne brought the rig back to life, got the engine going again. He used a very ingenious way of crafting a series of levers together and getting the weight he needed, and he was able to break it free. Here's footage from the first day that it ran, not under its own power for movement's sake, but that the engine was running, and a reminder of the wonderful sound of these beautiful old engines. Here they are getting the lights going again and looking after some of the wiring, trying to get the rig in parade ready condition. Well, here are some pictures of the process of lettering the rig back to Roseville. The idea always was to have it reflect the only department it ever served. Rosie returning to the parade circuit, and a couple drive-bys from various events that it's participated in since being reclamated. Now everybody loves a happy ending, and Rosie's no different. Here she is giving a little smile for the camera during her photo shoot for issue 35 of Vintage Fire Truck magazine. You might be impressed with Vintage Fire Truck magazine and everything we've done here, but it's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. We've also got Vintage Motor Coach and Vintage Tendy, so slip on over to VintageLivesHere.com to see everything that we have to offer. Folks, if you've enjoyed this video, just do us a favor and go on over and subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends about it and tune on in. We're going to provide you ongoing content with the greatest stories from the vintage fire truck and classic apparatus world.